What we have here is a Union 36-inch spinner, model 4CLW3SPC. The latter bit of information means 3-speed pull chain. It's like how Casablanca put a letter after the model number to denote what kind of speed control system it used. So, yeah, this Union is from, I would say, 1985. It's not dated, but I can only assume that to be the case because it's a ball socket fan, it has a stamped steel switch housing, and it's still a cast aluminum motor. 85 is when they started to transition to stamped steel completely for everything. So this is one of the last cast aluminum Unions. Interesting bit here is the blade iron. It has a stencil cut out of it because of course it does. Gives it a different aesthetic. This fan is very clean. It has point tip blades, which are kind of narrow at their base, that's kind of neat. It's kind of safer-esque, but nope, this is a Union. See how it performs. Ooh, it's got harmonics. It vibrates. Just a little bit. That's really vibrating. That's the thing with Unions. They tend to not be particularly quiet. It's got a running moan and it vibrates. The bearings in the fan are actually pretty good. There's no real problem with the bearings. Yeah, even these switch housings were cast aluminum, or not cast aluminum, they were pot metal cast. Now, this one's stamped steel, which arguably is a better design because anything that's cast pot metal has a tendency to break if abused. Stamped steel, on the other hand, is more resilient. It can be bent back if it's bent. It will not break. So the low speed is a bit fast, but this is normal for Unions. Do it on medium. I want to say this one has slightly steeper blade pitch, only because the blades are more narrow. I mean, the bearings have a little bit of whirl sound to them, but it's kind of average. I had to bend the blades back into true. They're not completely perfect, but it eliminated the majority of the wobble it had initially, so. It's always nice to see these obscure, weird, later spinner Unions. This one is definitely an off-white tone of color. And that's full blast. A little wobble on high, but it's subtle. Naturally it flies. There's a fair amount of air for what it is, really. This is one of the oldest things I've found in Bodymore Murderland. There is a place down there that is a literal gold mine when it comes to fans. They have so much inventory, and it's all cheap. I love it. Every time I go there, I end up buying like 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 fans. You get a little carried away. But this was one of them. The thing with this place is... Let me let it coast. The thing with this place... All the fans are wrapped in shrink wrap. Almost all of them. So, identifying them tends to be tricky because everything's in shrink wrap, and you have to be looking really, really closely to know what anything is because it's just a mound of shrink wrap. It's just everywhere. It just obscures view. So, you could spend a good hour or two looking on the fan racks, and you could miss some pretty neat stuff if you're not careful because there's just so much. Like, at least 100 fans when I last went. And now let's reverse it. For whatever reason, the reverse switch is mounted the wrong way. Down means down, up means up generally. Let's just do full tilt. Reverse. Huh. Interesting. It runs considerably slower in updraft. Like, this is full tilt in updraft. This also harkens back to the fact that this is an industrial motor. It's geared for downdraft operation primarily. So updraft, in reverse, in updraft, it's not as fast. Because it's not necessarily designed to be reversed. So here, that's the high speed. Now we're dropping the medium. You can hear it vibrating. Because it's a union and they all do it to some extent. Including the newer stamped steel ones, especially the newer stamped steel ones. Oh, they're loud as hell. And that was my dehumidifier. So this medium is it's similar to low speed. Now let's go to straight up low and see what we get. Yeah, the low speed and updraft is actually really good. It's actually a nice, reasonable low speed. Now we turn it off. I have an older one of these, new in box, labeled Super 36. It was sold at Rickles. This is a newer one, and I have no idea where it was sold. The thing with these things is you don't know where it was sold unless you see it new in the box and see a brand price tag, or not a brand price tag, see a store price tag on it telling you where it was from. So generally unions are a bit of a mystery unless they have a specific label on them, which this one does not. But yeah, there you have it. A union 36-inch spinner. very late.